Okay, here's a quick demonstration of my application and using it to submit orders. So you click on the Submit Order button, pulls up the order entry form. Now I'm making a few changes to it, so it won't look like this, and by this time next week it'll have a little bit more information in it. However, at the present time, this is a fully functional window. So you select the SOI that you intend on making your transaction with. I'll use Big Ben as a choice here. And then you can choose whether or not you're going to have a buy or a sell order, a bid or an ask. Notice that when you are doing a bid, it shows you the open asks that it fetches from the One Season website, so you know what price people are presently willing to sell to you at. If you do a market order, then it will just start going down the list and buying up the shares that are in this list until it reaches the number of shares that you have selected. However, if you put in a limit order, then you have to put in the price per share that you are willing to pay as a maximum. And let's say I decide I'm going to pay $10.75 as a maximum. So it would pick off this one. I'd pay $10.49 for it. It would not average the prices because it's going to match. It's going to match this order and create a bid for it. So it'll create a bid for a quantity of one at $10.49 and send that to One Season. Then when that is done, it will refresh this list to make certain that there hasn't been somebody else that added a new order in, or somebody that took some off of this list in the meantime, and then it'll just keep working down the list. This also has the advantage of, if this 1050 is a ghost order, then it's not going to reduce the number of shares that you are trying to buy by trying to match up with an order that doesn't exist. So then it'll just keep working down the rest of the line. Now I also have here stop limit orders. Now these are primarily used for ask orders, but technically you could use them for bid orders as well. The way the stop limit works, you end up setting a trigger, and then you end up setting a limit price. So let's say that in this particular case, I am going to try to sell Big Ben. I take a look here and I see that the current open bids, the top bid is $8.25. Now, if this gives me a nice enough profit, then I don't want to lose the potential to gain further profit, but I want to make certain that I lock in some profit should things start to go down again. So what I'll do is create a stop limit order where my trigger price is $8.15. So then if this $8.25 bid goes away and the high bid is $8.10, that will trigger my stop limit, and then I'll put an actual limit in of 8. So at that point, when this $8.25 bid goes away, it will then sell at $8.10, then $8.06, then $8.05, then at 8, and it'll create a limit order at 8 for the rest, if there was any shares left over on the stop limit order. And last, I've got a hidden limit. Now what the hidden limit does, and this is a good example here, let's say that I want to buy a bunch of Big Ben, but I don't want to, I want to pay up to $11. So I buy 100 shares and I go up to $11. With a regular limit order, it will pick off all of these orders, and then after it hits this $10.99, it will create an open bid for $11. And then if we take a look, that's a huge gap between the last bid of $8.25 and the new bid of $11. So I'll probably get somebody to buy that, but I would be paying a lot more money than I could possibly be paying by waiting to see what they were willing to sell it for. So what I would be doing with the hidden order is, instead of creating that open limit at 11, I would, on my system, maintain a limit of 11, and then it will monitor the new sell orders, and whenever a new sell order is created that is below that limit of 11, then my system will create a bid that matches and go ahead and process that until the number of shares that you have selected is gone. Now, you don't see it in this particular form, but it will be in this form by this time next week. A time frame for when the order expires. Right now, the orders expire as soon as you close the application. If they're not closed at that point, they are terminated. But I have set it up so that here next week you can put in that it's until the end of the market close, or for a week, or until filled. So if you put in until filled, then when you close the application, it writes the information to the database, and then when you start it back up, it reads the information and picks up where it left off. Now here real quick, I'll show you a couple other things. I've got a level 2 display for the next order entry form. It's actually going to show you both the bids and the asks at the same time, giving you all of that information. We'll also show you your account information, how much cash you have on hand, and how many shares of the, notice that it just updated, live updates. It will also show you the number of shares that you have for Big Ben. Let me show you right now a couple of things. If I try to sell 50 shares of Big Ben.
In her though. In her though. In her.